everyone thinks about physical fitness tests in schools, not just high schools, but junior high schools as well. You can't in elementary school. You can't just wait to high school to give a physical fitness test and expect the students to be fit. It has to start at a young age. So I'd like to know everyone's opinion on this. Yes or no? Physical fitness test for schools. Let me see here. How do I start a poll here? Lighting, rate highlight. I don't know. So, so let's start. I don't have a guest yet, but I don't have any viewers yet. But let's start. So, in elementary school, you have, children, right? You have first grade to sixth grade. At least when I went to school, it was that way. First grade to sixth grade. So we did what were called shuttle runs. It was from one corner to the next corner. That's typically 70 yards on a New York City street. On a New York City sidewalk, one corner is 70 yards. We ran back and forth. That's a shuttle run of 140 yards. That's about the only thing that I remember that they did. Besides, I think volleyball and baseball were the two main games in elementary school. So playing games is very much a part of fitness. In the development of fitness, playing games, even for adults, is a very, very important part. And you use games to train people to get better physically fit. So, in schools, before just jumping into a physical fitness test, you can have the students play volleyball, baseball, do shuttle runs. Now, what about calisthenics for kids, children? But by the way, before I continue, this video is not meant for advice or recommendation. It is strictly for educational purposes. Okay, so let's continue. Kids, before they reach their full growth, let's say, hey, how you doing, calculator? Kids, before they reach their full growth, while they're still in their developmental years, are usually discouraged, at least when I was growing up, from lifting weights, because the theory was that the end plates in their bones are still developing, and putting pressure on those end plates with weights and would stunt the growth of the kid. Now, I don't recall any push-ups or sit-ups or pull-ups when I was in elementary school, but we did do shuttle runs. We were encouraged to do shuttle runs of 70 yards back and forth. Hey, hello there. How are you? He-Man Shoe. So what do you think about physical fitness tests in schools? I mean, when I got to junior high school, then you had gym class, right? In gym class, they did their push-ups. In gym class, we did, I'm still no. In junior high school, they still only did mostly sports. They did basketball, they did baseball, and they did volleyball, they did dodgeball, but I don't recall any formal training program for calisthenics like push-ups or pull-ups. I don't recall any track program. Hey, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I really appreciate it, calculator. You know, not until I got to high school did they do physical fitness tests involving pull-ups, push-ups, but also involving dips and involving jumps. A broad jump, a standing broad jump. Hey, thank you. Thank you, football. You know, so what does everyone think about fitness tests in schools? You know that back in the 60s, I think, or the 50s, they had physical fitness, or what they call ROTC training. It's like military physical fitness training. And I think it was high school, but they don't have that anymore. They dropped that. Rastas. I had a few Rastafarian friends, so I think I think they're very cool. I don't know a lot about it, but I know that my friends, Rastafarian friends, were very cool. And I miss them, and they're very good. I miss them because I moved. They moved, so we don't see each other. But, doing the high school tests, like for push-ups, pull-ups, things like that, how often do you blink? That's a good question. I blink a lot, I think it's because I got, especially my right eye, it's always bothering me. You see that? And it's itching, like, not itching, I think like maybe something gets in it. But I think if you notice, try to notice, please, if I blink more with my right eye than my left. I think I blink more with my right eye. You see that? I did it again. Oh no. I was outside one time, I was walking, and these people thought I was blinking at them. It's not my fault, my right eye gets itchy and I blink. I can't help it, But like doing a physical fitness test, for me, it was good, But I think it should start early, because if you expect somebody to go from doing no exercise to trying to do a mile run really fast, it's not safe. You have to build up to it. Oh yes, thanks. How about you, calculator? So doing a physical fitness test, you got to practice you want somebody to do a physical fitness test first. They have to get in shape first. You have to teach them how to do the push-ups, the pull-ups. Now, when it comes to sit-ups, I don't know if anybody's aware of that the Army dropped sit-ups a long time ago, because in studies it was shown that the sit-ups hurt your back, your low back, because of overflexion of the low back, which is just repetitive rounding of the low back. So they stopped doing sit-up tests. Now they want to do a sit-up test. What happened to the finding, the studies showing the sit-ups cause a bad lower back? Jump ropes, or jump rope planks. You know what? In the training, excellent idea. Excellent. Because the jump ropes will develop the legs, the coordination. It involves the coordination of your feet, right? Your hands. It develops the aerobics. It's less impact, right? So, you're not jumping very high, less impact, a lot of control, and it's longer, so you have to pay attention more. So, and the same thing with the planks. The planks develop the core. I started out with planks. That was my It still is. I always do planks. I did planks today. But of course, I do much harder planks because they're much more harder planks. They're different levels of planks. And if you want to get better, you do different levels of planks. Hey, okay. Thanks for, thanks for subscribing and liking, and thanks for, dropping in. I really appreciate it, calculator. So, planks are great. And thing is that planks you lower to the ground so it's safer for the back. So if if you're trying to get a kid to do a lot of push-ups and they have a bad back, they can hurt themselves. But a plank is it's safer. You lower to the ground. So it's very excellent suggestion. Excellent. When I was in junior high school, I don't even think they knew about planks. Hey, hi, how you doing? But running is another thing. You can't just test a kid to run a mile. You first have to teach them the right technique of running. I was a runner. I like to do like a half a mile, but I got involved in a lot of 10-kilometer races, 6-mile races. So that's very hard. But at first I started to hurt my feet, my knees, everything because I used the wrong technique. And just as important, I used the wrong sneakers. You got to use the right sneakers if you want to run long distance. If you're going to test a kid to run a mile on a track, on a hard track, or an AstroTurf, two different things. You need the right sneakers. You need the right, feet attire. And you need to show the kids how to run, the technique, how to use proper running technique. So you have to coach them. You need a coach. You can't just test people and expect them to perform well. The physical fitness programs, I think, should start early. What does everyone else think? What about pull-ups? What about the pull-ups for kids? How do you approach and teach the pull-up? Do you expect them to do a full pull-up from the start? I don't think that's realistic. When I went to do a kettlebell instructor test, they had some beginners just hold the pull-up position from the chin, from underneath the chin. In other words, you jump up or you climb up. You get a bench, you climb up to your chin is over the bar, and you just try to hold yourself over the bar close to your chest. You try to hold as long as you can. So they did that test first. And if you didn't do well, they're not going to ask you to do a full pull-up. I think that's the right way to go about it. It's called a pull-up hold, where you're just trying to hold your chin above the pull-up bar without moving. Try to go as long as a minute. I trained somebody, and I used that, and it was very effective. Somebody mentioned planks. You can just hold a push-up position and not go down and up it and get very strong abs. It's very hard to hold what they call a push-up position for several minutes. It's very, very hard. You can do a lot of push-ups, but still not be able to hold yourself in a push-up position for several minutes. Try it. Try holding yourself, maintaining a push-up position between 3 and 5 minutes, and you'll see. And it's an excellent test for your core strength too. So these are things. And what about swimming? What is the purpose of a physical fitness test for youngsters? If if you're only testing in running, you may be uh, required to swim. I mean, what is the purpose? To have a uh, fit citizens, to have the fitness. And what about gymnastics? The elements of physical fitness has to be well-rounded, agility, correct? The ability to, one of the things I used to practice when I was a kid is like how to do a handstand. That's hard, right? How to do a handstand. And I did it for, I think, 10 seconds. It's not too bad. Hey, how you doing, Arkansas Maple? So what does everyone think about the physical fitness test? If you're going to do a physical fitness test, I feel you should have instructors in the schools. When I grew up, we had the gym teacher. The gym teacher was also the physical fitness instructor. I myself helped the gym teacher teach kids exercise in junior high school. I was the assistant to the gym teacher, yeah. 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. I was the assistant exercise instructor in my junior high school. Indeed. And I believe we were one of the first, I think it's 74, to have a weightlifting program in junior high school. We were one of the first ones. And we performed weightlifting demonstrations, the clean and press, and was mostly the lift demonstrated, the deadlift. I performed on the bench press as well, the squat. All these were demonstrated in junior high school. And then I myself demonstrated the snatch and the clean and jerk. No one else did because that required a lot of technique, and the kids weren't trained in that, but I was, because I started very young practicing the snatch and the clean and jerk. But when I went to college, I found that a lot of students started practicing long distance running. I think that it helped with their focus and their concentration, because when you run long distance, you can't give up right away. If you want to finish the distance, whatever distance you set your mind to, you have to stay focused and concentrated. So this carried over into the studies. If they want to study for an hour, it required a lot of mental endurance, and so did running. So a lot of students in college took up long distance running because they felt it helped their studies. It's a good question. Okay, let's break down, when do you feel the back pain? Is it at the start of the lift when you're pulling off the ground? Is it when the bar gets off the ground? The greatest pressure on the lower back in a deadlift is when the bar is just off the ground, mid-shin. Let's just say mid-shin, okay? When the bar is mid-shin, that is where your lower back, your lumbar, is at the greatest. It's at the angle that is incurring the greatest resistance. When the bar is mid-shin, that's when there's the most resistance on the lower back. That angle, that joint angle, when the bar is at right there at the mid-shin, that's when most of the resistance on your lower back. See, you should pay attention to how your back feels at that point. Yeah, right off the start. Yeah, that's lower back. Okay, so what I found for myself, because I used to have that problem, what found for myself is number one, don't round, keep the lower back in neutral, and keep the abs and the obliques, everything tight here. All your abdominals tight, all your hip muscles tight, your arms. What is the technique? But you have to keep your abdominals tight and your hip muscles tight. And your lower back should not round. This. If your lower back rounds, you're losing power. Okay, you're losing power now. If your back hurts, it's a sign of weakness. There's a weakness there. Most typically in your abdominals and your hips. This is where the weakness is. The lower back itself is not a big muscle, it's a very small muscle. In fact, I'm going to tell you there's no such thing as the lower back. You have the general muscle that runs up your spine, beside your spine, runs all the way down from lower to upper. What's in your lower back area are cartilages and the inner core muscles. See, everything in that area is really inside your body. The inner core muscles, the diaphragm, that's what protects your lower back, along with those muscles that run on either side of your spine. Those take time to squeeze those muscles. So here's the thing, Stephen. Please. No, well, let me continue with this. I'll get to it. I'm sorry. I'll take it too long. Okay. You test yourself. This is a test, okay? This is one of the tests I use for myself. I'm not recommending it to you, but this is one of the ways that you can test yourself. Okay. I lay my body over a bench. Okay, you have a bench. You lay your body where your waist is off the edge of the bench. Okay, your knees are bent, and then you try to just raise your legs, both to keep your knees bent. Right, try to raise your legs up. That tests your hip strength, the gluteus maximus strength, because this is what you need to pull that bar off the ground. The leg drive, right, the gluteus maximus, and then also you test your core strength. How long can you hold the plank for? Because remember that the deadlift is a very slow thing. It's not like going to be fast like that, like a clean and jerk. The deadlift is how long can you keep your abs tight for? If you try a plank, right? If you find that you can't hold a plank for a minute, how do you expect to keep your abs tight in the deadlift? What do you think of that, Stephen? What's your opinion? What do you think of that? I'd like to know. As far as the hex bar places axial loading on your spine. Okay, it doesn't allow you your hips to hinge. It takes away the hinge. You know where you put your hips back in the deadlift, so you could utilize your hip muscles. So like when a football player, right, the linemen, they put their hips back. That's so they could get their base, strong base. If you don't have a strong base, that's everything in the deadlift. You need that strong base. And the only way you're going to get a strong base in the deadlift, at the start of the movement, your hips have to be back. You know, so the technique, your position with the hex bar, it it actually makes you straight up. It doesn't allow your hips to go back. Yeah, when you're starting out, but start pulling the hex bar off the ground, you're in the center. It's not like the bars, like the bars in front of you, shit, right? The hex bar, it's not. You're already in the position of your legs are already in the center. Once you start standing up, the hex bar even goes behind you. Think about what that's going to do to your back. It's pressing down on the spine directly, vertically, compressing it. That's not safe. And I don't want to make this into like, this is not just like a view, my view. It's not not a view on. This is just an anatomical fact. You have to use your hips at the start of a deadlift, and the hex bar places you in too much of a vertical position to use your hips properly. Oh yeah. So I mean, did you get my take? Or was I talking too fast? Or did I talk clearly about the hex bar? About it placing you in an exaggerated vertical position? Because the hex bar, it's actually it's not in front of your legs, which, the bar is in front of your legs, you can pull your hips back, use your hips, but the hex bar actually goes in the sides of your legs or even travels behind your legs. Oh yeah, no, like the test with the bench and racing legs. You don't like it, or what don't you like about it, Stephen? This thing is, it got like a pad, like this chair is not comfortable to sit. What don't you like about the bench and racing the legs? Oh, you like it? Oh, okay. I mean, try it one leg at a time and then both. And at the top, the idea is to slowly lower your legs. Don't lower the legs quick because that can hurt your back. So just the general idea is to slowly lower your legs, Another thing is what a Superman exercise? Hey, Arkansas map, what a Superman exercise? You're lying on your stomach, right? Your arms are in front of you, your feet. So you're resembling a posture of flying, right? Like you're Superman. You're lying face down on the ground, and then you're trying to lift your arms and your legs. And then you just hold your arms and legs off the ground. Try that for a minute or two. If your back, starts screaming, getting tired, you're not ready for deadlift. I think the deadlift is, much more demanding. Yeah, the Superman. Superman is great exercise. A lot of people they don't practice the Superman because, maybe they do it for a few seconds, but try it for a minute or two. And that's when you really see how strong your back muscles are, your hip muscles are, and not only that, the endurance of your back and your hip muscles. Because, any exercise, including the deadlift, is typically done for repetitions. And it's a slow exercise, and your muscles will get fatigued. The muscles of the hip and the back get fatigued very quickly. The Superman is excellent for building up that endurance in your back and your hips. If you try it for like a minute, 2 minutes, hey, boy, yeah, thank you. Thank you for dropping in, Stephen. Sure, you have a good night too. It's great, Yeah. Remember to train your core too. Practice those planks. Practice static abs. That's another thing. If you see my video where I'm sitting down, I did a video today. I was sitting down, I put my legs up, right? I stretch my legs and I have my legs, hands in the air. That's a pike. It's called a pike. Now this you got to build up to it. What I was doing there in that video is very advanced, but that's an example of isometric abdominals. See, in a deadlift, your abdominals work isometrically. You're not doing like a sit-up, right? So your abdominals are just contracting and squeezing, and they stay in that position. You have to keep your abdominals in that position to keep your ribs, to protect your back. So that's abdominal isometrics. Another thing that you have to practice if you want to deadlift is abdominal isometrics. Hey, thanks. Do you get the point? Oh man, I hope Stephen didn't leave before I start talking about the abdominal isometrics, because that's a very crucial thing in a deadlift, because it's like, it's like an isometric squeeze. The deadlift is like an abdominal isometric squeeze. Hey, thanks, Arkansas Map. I really appreciate it. Let me know, anybody, let me know the exercises that, if they want exercises to help strengthen the same muscles used in the deadlift. Now, I'm not advising people to do deadlifts. My personal opinion, what I do, I stay away from deadlifts, because I used to be a powerlifter. Okay, have a good night, man. Thanks for dropping it. Hey, thanks for visiting, and I really appreciate it. And it's been great talking to you. I should go to bed, but I drank too much green tea. And I'm still blinking. Did I stop blinking now? I'm still blinking. Probably going to be blinking all night. You have a great night, Arkansas Mapper. I hope some of these things I talked about helped. Yep. I'm not a really big, fan of deadlifts, because I think it's more of a test than an exercise. A test that's for a specific sport, which is powerlifting, which involves a lot of technique and a lot of preparation. An exercise for fitness is typically something the average, quote unquote, the average person can do. A deadlift is not something the average person can do. It requires a lot of specialized technique and a lot of preparation. Let me know if you agree with that. Because a lot of people, feel, or a lot of people want to do deadlifts. Hey, I don't blame them, right? They're excited and they feel it's a test of strength. But like any test, it requires proper technique and preparation, right? Let me know. And we started out this discussion, we started out this live talking about physical fitness tests, right? Now we're getting into specific strength tests, right? Weighted strength tests, which requires a lot more technique. But it's very practical for developing the ability in activities which require you to lift something off the ground and carry. Sports like that, right? I mean, what sports are there like that? Wrestling? Wrestling can require that, right? And, not just sports, but jobs, right? Where you require daily activities. You're required to carry a box here. And so this is, lifting off the ground. So the technique, very important. The technique of keeping your body in the right position when you're lifting the box off the ground, preparing all the muscles, training the correct muscles, that will get you stronger. It's a process. It does not happen overnight. It's a process. Like we were talking about the planks. We were talking about the Superman exercise. We were talking about developing isometric strength in the abdominal region. I feel these should come first before the deadlift. Do not put the cart in front of the horse, before the horse. I mean, where you gonna, if you gotta put the cart, right? And you have no horse, you're not gonna get anywhere. Where are you gonna get? It's the same thing. If you don't practice the exercises to develop the strength and the muscles used in the deadlift, and then you try to do your deadlift, you're gonna be starting at zero. It's like the cart, it's like the horse. You need the horse. The muscular strength, the muscular training of the abdominals, of your hips, is the horse. You need to have that, develop that, practice that before you deadlift. Isometric abdominals training, so valuable. Building your glute strength, bridges. How long can anybody hold a bridge? Do you know what a tabletop bridge is? These are also wonderful, valuable exercises that will build up the muscles, all the supportive muscles used in the deadlift. These are exercises that I would love to demonstrate on a line. Anyway, I think that I will check out now. I think many people are telling me they're going to sleep, so I think I will check out now. But hey, this is going to be posted on my channel, so please, if you get a chance, watch it. Watch this live post stream, and I'm sure you will derive some valuable information on it. Not just from me, but my guests. They offered some valuable information, and my guests always offer valuable suggestions. So it's a give and take. I learn and they learn from each other. You have a great night.